Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Eamon Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion on whatever the moral or theme of their story is or was. This week is the first time we've ever actually been in the same room together.
That's right, I'm here.
Well, to record. I mean, we've all been in the same room before.
Yeah, we've met, but I'm just saying, and to record, this is the first time we've actually all been together. We're always in different places. The internet makes it easier.
Yeah, which is good, because I don't really like you guys that much.
I understand.
So
I don't want to.
Feelings mutual, man.
We kind of want to get this done.
Yeah, well, it's probably because I haven't showered in 4 days, so I understand.
Is that real? Have you really not
Really?
showered?
I was just trying to make a joke about how I smell so bad, so you guys want to get out of the other room, but now you're ruining the radio. So theater of the mind has been canceled.
Is it a joke if we're kind of wondering if it's true?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sniff him. Sniff him,
I haven't showered in 2 days.
Let's
That's
do a
the
sniff
truth.
test. Oh, that's more than I needed to
bad.
know. So the story this week is my choice. It's my pick. So I get to choose the story. And I wanted to write something that spoke to, we got a nice email from Doug Crabtree, or a nice message just saying how we're his favorite podcast. We've gotten a couple of those that have just popped up recently. I think
Holla.
Christy Flores also said the same thing. This is like, we like being in people's number one.
Yeah, my favorite podcast is Smirk.
Is it?
So, of course.
Mine is Sword and Scale, but shh, don't tell anyone.
Is that a true
weird?
crime podcast?
Yeah.
Well, it could only ever be.
I mean, it's upsetting how much I listen to that, probably.
Great. Well, I hope Smirk is in the top 5.
Number 2. It's number 2.
I'm okay with Smirk being in like the top 25 for anybody.
Wow.
That's fine.
if
Low
anybody-
standards.
If
So
you
they're
listen
easy
to more
to
than
beat.
25 podcasts, what are you doing?
Who has the time to listen to 25 podcasts?
Hey, I do know somebody who said she listens to over 20.
Does she listen
And
to
she-
double speed?
Was super intrigued by the idea of our podcast. So she's going to try and check it out.
Man. Yeah, I think I have.
So you're telling me about a maybe?
Well, she downloaded it or looked it up or
She
whatever.
should get her ass in there. She listens to that many podcasts and give it a shot.
Well, now she probably is, and now she hates us.
Right,
so.
yeah, now we just put her on blast. So.
Well, anyway, this was written a little bit to a nod to that. So, Doug, I hope you enjoy the story.
And thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Everybody. We've gotten quite a few of them lately. So, Tori Melchin as well. We got some nice thoughts from her. So, shout out to the listeners. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys are okay.
That sounds right.
You're better than Zach, so you have that going for you.
No, I don't. That's kind of.
I mean, that was really unnecessary.
Yeah, you can really put people on pedestals like that. That's not fair.
Okay,
I
fine.
think the world needs to be so cruel.
Retract that.
Do you guys want to hear my story? I wrote it.
I guess.
Oh, well,
I
then
forgot.
maybe not.
I mean, that's the whole point of this thing. And some people, say if you don't get into the thing by the first 2 minutes, you're going to lose listeners.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Well, if they're still listening, then that's not true.
They're not going to keep listening, though, if we don't start.
That's true. If we don't get going eventually, they're just like, all
They're going to
right.
be annoyed with us.
You know what? Here's my story. It's been a long ride, and I could definitely use a quick nap. But I'm ready for a run, I told myself as our truck pulled up to the driveway. Having been on the road for almost 14 hours straight, returning back from a vacation stacked full of memories, I thought my body would just collapse into a puddle of mush in my queen-size slice of heaven. It didn't. Instead, my body needed a cathartic release. It is hard to explain to others why it is I love to run. Hell, even I don't know sometimes. It's not the enjoyment of it, because it's never truly fun. It's not the exercise of it either. There are better ways to keep fit. Most of them far easier for my aging frame. No, it's something about being outside, alone with my thoughts. I can contemplate so many of life's curveballs on those few miles that by the time I finish, occasionally, I feel like I've conquered the world. Or maybe it's that rush of adrenaline as I approach a goal, or happen to push myself just a little bit further this time. Knowing you've beaten your best self always awakens the soul. A quick nap might be smarter, but screw it, I'm heading out. Time to strap on my shoes and put those feet to pavement. Better yet, let's hit a trail instead. Nothing is more peaceful than a run on a quiet park trail just before dusk. I hit the trail and pick up my stride, working to adjust my footing as I go, as trails can change in an instant. I briefly take my eyes off the trail to admire the vista in front of me. Luscious trees, the gradually increasing song of local crickets picking up pace, the sun slowly beginning its eventual descent into its nightly solitude. It's a stunning day for a run. This was absolutely the right call. I rounded the trail. 4 miles after I started, I'm now following the lakeside, quickly approaching the car. A group of fellow runners whip by, and I have to stand still at the side, as the trail is simply too narrow to field so many at once. We give each other that knowing wave, the one you give when you're kicking ass and taking names on the trail, and then I get back on my way. In the distance, my car materializes into view. This is the final stretch. It's the most beautiful section of this particular trail, as the entirety of it follows the edge of the lake. It's how I always end my runs, rewarding myself by finishing with the best view in the park. As I close in on the final 100 yards or so, I notice 2 children playing by the lake, right off the trail. Maybe 5 or 6 years old. These kids are way too young to be unattended to. Maybe 50 feet away, I see their mother, looking the other way, babbling to someone on the phone. The children are getting closer to the lake, their playful attitudes blissfully unaware of the immediate depths that lay in those inviting waters. I look at them, and then look back at their oblivious mother, and my spidey sense begins to tingle. They edge closer. I begin to slow down my pace. And then closer. Oh my God, they're going to fall in. My body rocketed towards the ground before I had any idea what happened. It is times like these that I really regret not investing in full body pads. It happened so quick. I could not even brace myself for the impact, smashing my entire body, face, and hands into the dirt. It took a minute to regain my faculties. My first thought was the children. Dad instincts are a powerful force not to be trifled with. Thankfully, they were fine, as their delightful gem of a mother ushered them towards the car, forever instructing these children to ignore those in distress. That didn't matter, though, because it was all well. No blame here. This is all on me. I knew better. You never take your eyes off the trail on a run. Yet everything worked out. A bad tumble, but the kids were okay, and that's what mattered. I finally felt secure enough in my composure to pick myself up. Bit embarrassed, but thankfully close enough to my car to drive away from this humiliation expeditiously. I managed to prop myself up on my legs when I immediately collapsed to the ground. My right leg had given out. It made sense. I did take a bit of a fall. My body just needed a minute to recover. I waited 10 minutes and began to lift myself up. The pain was horrendous. Like 100 baby knives were stabbing my entire right side all at once. Again, I collapsed under the agony of it all. 30 minutes went by, and the pain worsened. I looked at my car, now only hundreds of feet away, and I knew I could not make it. I had to accept it. I could not walk. And no amount of adrenaline could change what I now knew to be true. I really should have taken that nap.
Ouch. Painful.
The moral of this story is so easy.
Really? What is the moral of the story?
I'm nobody's hero. See, it's a vital lesson to never be a hero.
What?
Yeah, that's what I got away from this.
Where the hell did you get that at all, anywhere?
You got cut up? I'm sorry. They care.
Don't care about the children is what you're saying.
Yeah, who cares? Like, those aren't your kids. Why should you care?
That's a horrible moral.
I'm just saying.
That's a Zach moral, for sure.
There's no need to get down there and risk your own. All that happened was the guy fell down the trail and hurt himself. That's all that happened. The kids didn't learn a lesson. The mother didn't learn a lesson. Now this dude's all cut up for no reason. Man,
cold SOB right here.
Just saying, man.
Amanda, what do you think the moral is? Do you have one, or do you have a screw the world situation going on?
I rarely do. I don't know, I guess I would say, something about still being cautious of your own surroundings, even if you're wanting to care for someone else. Like, love yourself like you're trying to love somebody else. I don't know, something weird like that.
Ooh, I do have it.
Oh, you do? So confident.
Never take your eyes off the trail.
Oh, that's a good one.
Man, neither one of you are right.
Okay, so what is it?
You always listen to your body.
Okay, well, there's that. We were not close whatsoever. But that's all right.
Dougie Doug knows. He understands this one. He really does.
Doug relates.
I'm sure. He said he was training for a marathon, so I think he gets this one.
That seems like a fool's errand.
To run that far? It's like 26 miles, right?
Or to run.
That's what I'm saying. They run 26 miles for a marathon.
I'm saying running is for fools.
Oh, as a whole. What if you're being chased?
Well, touche.
Yeah.
I'm giving up. If I'm getting chased, take me. You're going to give me back. Trust me. I know you're not going to keep me.
Well, yeah. Just have to listen to her for about 20 minutes.
Exactly.
So we keep the show as short as we do.
Yep. It's for the safety of all of the listeners.
I mean, it's funny because it's not wrong.
It's not. I agree with you guys. I wouldn't want to listen to me for more than 20 minutes.
All right, so in this story, the character had an internal debate about whether to run or not because of being too tired. Was he or she right to push through? Number one question.
Well, I mean, with the moral of the story being that you should listen to your body.
That's my moral. I'm saying, what do you think? Do you think they should have pushed through, or should they have not done it?
They could have seen how they felt at the beginning, but they didn't really seem to continue to listen to their body afterwards as they were going. And if you're already, I don't know, if you're already that tired, how do you even get the motivation to get up anyway?
Well, isn't that how you get better? By pushing your way through the pain, as it were?
That's what they say, yeah.
You know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson didn't get to that size because he stopped because he was tired.
This is true.
That's true.
In fact.
And now I have every picture, like everybody running looks like Dwayne Johnson in my head now. Because they're so dedicated.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would.
You can't
I would run more.
You can't look like that from running.
No, you can't. It actually is not a great way to build muscle at all.
No.
You should do weights, and you actually lose more weight that way.
Is that true?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Okay, well.
I think it's right.
I believe
We probably should have like a health coach.
I'm pretty sure I watched a
fact-checking
Richard
us.
Simmons video in the 90s or 80s, but that's the last I recall about actually doing research
what about,
on exercise.
Oh, man, was it Horton? Tony Horton. P90X? Anybody?
Tony Horton, the guy that does coffee shops in Canada?
So nobody.
No, that's Tom Horton.
Nobody ever did P90X, huh?
No, sir.
Oh,
No.
well,
Have you seen these hips? No.
No. I used to work out quite a bit. I gave that up though.
Do they have a nap version? Because I would do that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm a professional nap taker.
He definitely does not let you nap.
That is my kind of exercise.
I need a competition like that so I can win trophies.
What is with the PX? Is it PX90? Is that what it's
P90X.
P90X.
Yeah.
P90X, sorry. What is the point of that? Because once you do it or your 30 days, nobody's going to keep doing that for the rest of their lives,
Well,
right?
you don't do it for 30 days. You do it for 90 days. It's right there in the name.
Wow, it's already too long.
Yeah. So
I already need a break.
So if you really want to properly do it, it is a 90-day commitment. But what happens is you do a cycle and then you can cycle up.
So that's like...
Now I'm going to sound like an infomercial, but you should start with P90X3 as kind of a beginner's program, and then you go to P90X, which is kind of the intermediate program, and then if you really...
Oh my God, I stopped caring so long ago.
P90X2, which is really the high end of...
How far did you get?
I did all of P90X3, and then me and my workout buddy transitioned to P90X, but then you know what? He and I had a falling out, and I do not have the personal wherewithal to keep working out solo. So
So you're just like, I'm going to eat cheeseburgers, screw it. I'm done.
Yeah, you know what? Kind of.
Fries.
But hey, I got this show off the ground. I had all that free time now, so it worked out.
That's a good point. How much workout is that?
It's definitely intense.
Like an hour? I mean, is it like an hour each time? Or
It's about an hour and a half every time.
90 minutes?
It's about a 90
That's a
minute.
movie.
Yes, it is.
That's so long.
It is a long part of your day, but I got to tell you, it works.
Well, I'm
know?
sure it does work. You know, there are other things. I can't think of what they would be, but there are other things that work too.
Yeah,
If I knew anything about exercise, I would know what they were.
But what it does is it really like puts you in a cult-like mentality where you can't miss the next day because
Do you guys sacrifice people?
well, you can't let Tony down. So
I feel like we should also mention right now that we are not like
not
a paid
sponsored?
advertisement or sponsored by P90X.
Well, you know what?
I'll take it. Send me a check.
Proponent. Yeah, Tony's great. He seems nice.
Okay.
But anyway, all of that was to say that when I was working out, I just remember a Dwayne Johnson quote that reminds me that you shouldn't give up when you're tired because he says your competition just hit the snooze button.
Oh.
So think about that.
You know, I used to have his app. You know,
Yeah.
The rock clock?
The
That's
rock
where,
clock?
that's where I got that quote from.
I freaking love that thing.
It was until he started just using it to market new movies.
Yeah, then it got kind of old. Is it still a thing? Is it still around?
I don't know. Well, he
He doesn't update it
I
anymore,
don't
right?
think so. Maybe when Jumanji 3 comes out, he'll like do
This
a quick video.
Podcast just became a P90X and a rock commercial.
I mean, it gets everywhere. We
Hey,
cover all.
Be sure to get
topics
your
here.
P90X and also the rock clock for $9.95.
It's actually free.
Mine was free. Yeah, but do they still update it?
No, I don't think they do.
That's just pointless. I don't like it.
Probably can't use it on the new iPhone, honestly.
All right, so next question.
Yeah. So anyway, now that we're done with our infomercials,
Why do you think it is that running or jogging in particular has taken over so much as the exercise for modern America? Because it's what everybody seems to be doing. Like that's the go-to exercise nowadays.
I don't want to put you down, especially Aaron, because I know you're a big runner. But it is.
I'm not a big runner. I'm just a runner. I'm not doing marathons.
Well,
I'm not doing any
okay.
nonsense like that. Or not. I'm sorry. More power to every one of you that do it.
Sure.
But I am not that dedicated because I want to go eat snacks.
Right. And McDonald's.
No, not McDonald's, but just snacks.
Taco
Just
Bell.
something bad.
Ice cream.
Ice
Taco Bell,
cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice
I
cream is
run
your vice.
to eat ice cream. That's why.
Fair enough. I mean, it's just going to sound mean no matter what. It's the bare minimum exercise.
I'd argue with that.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I get what he's.
I mean, yeah, what I'm saying is like just jogging. Jogging was how you warmed up in gym class before you did the actual activity.
It's more work than it is to do like swimming. Swimming is an exercise and that doesn't take a lot of energy. Also,
Swimming is floating forward.
it is, and the water kind of helps propel you. You definitely don't feel as fat as you are when you're swimming.
Sure, but swimming is also it's recreational. It's fun. It's a different environment. It's a good time. Usually you're at a beach or a pool, and it's fun. You're at a cookout or something like that. But jogging, you're only doing for the sake of the exercise.
Right? Wouldn't that make it a little bit more strenuous and rigorous than it would be for another?
I'm not counting swimming as exercising. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You don't count swimming as exercise?
Oh, if you're doing the laps,
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about hanging out in a pool like getting a suntan.
See, I would argue that going to find a pool of that size and then switching into the trunks and probably getting a gym membership is probably that's more effort than just going outside and turning up your podcasts.
And running?
And jogging.
Okay.
You can't start by running.
I've never actually ran. I'm always jogging. My speed does not dictate running.
You're not a sprinter?
I don't think I can sprint. I think I would hurt myself, probably.
Yeah, well, it's because you're 55 or whatever.
Wow, I'm not at all, but thank you.
Your hair begs to differ.
You know what? Silver fox is the new thing. George Clooney does it. I can do it.
Yeah, that's
It's
a little
salt and
different.
pepper.
Only one of you was Batman.
I would argue none of us were Batman. I would argue he
touche.
just never was. So why do you so you think it's because of the bare minimum? What do you think, Amanda?
I think it's a lot of it has to do with all of the apps that they have available for running, because you have C2 5K, which is couch to 5K. You have the zombie running app.
Right.
You have Runkeeper. You have Fitbit, which is huge. Fitbit's became such a big thing, and you can track all of that exercise. It's the easiest one to track in terms of exercise and how much calories you're burning. And then you can share those experiences with your friends and compete with them much easier than you could in other ways with virtually. And since everyone's obsessed with the internet and using their phone, it's a way for them to still be connected to other people around the world, compete with them, and also still just being alone and doing their own thing.
I love my Fitbit.
See, you're part of it.
It broke though.
I've got a Garmin, so I don't have a Fitbit.
Yours is fancier
Garmin's
than
still in business?
Yeah, it looks good on my wrist, son.
Oh, okay. I mean, I
Check
didn't
that out.
I didn't mean to insult you. It's just
That's like insult to
It's a little bulky, but I like it.
just forgot Garmin was a business, I guess.
Well, Garmin didn't, and their shareholders didn't.
Well,
everybody
most of
that
them
works
probably
there.
And Aaron didn't.
I sure did.
Right. Yeah. Lifelong brand ambassador, Aaron.
No,
Peterson.
somebody gave me this. I didn't actually buy it.
It's even better.
I'm kind of with, I guess, both of you, because the only reason I remember started running was my buddy was doing it and he was losing weight with it successfully. So I'm like, I need to lose weight, and I like to be outside. I don't like exercise, but if I get out there and I start, I find myself, it's the only exercise I feel like I have to finish once I start, because I always start and make sure I do like a loop of some sort, so that wherever I start, I have to go all the way around to come back to the end. And I'm just one of those people where I have to follow it through to the end the way that I set out to do it. It's just my brain.
Well, it'll take so much longer if you walk the second half.
It does. I want to get done.
You know,
but if you do a big circle, that works out. Or if you set, I'm going to go to this point and then back, and I can do that, and it makes sense to me.
Right.
Or if I'm going to go down, I'm going to do reps or something, I can quit pretty quick. You know what? I'm going to do 2 sets of reps. Nah,
not if Tony Horton's yelling at you.
I could stop that DVD.
And if you're running and you're halfway done and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, you don't have an option. At the very least, you're still walking all the way back.
Exactly.
You can't just cut through, like if you're at a trail, you can't just cut through the park and be like, I'm just going to slim some time off this or drop the weights.
If you run a mile, you still have to go a mile to come back.
Yeah,
and that's why I like it. I'm forced to do what I should have just done because I wanted to do it.
Mile sounds like a long ways.
It is when you run.
It feels further.
Yeah.
It feels
Once you
further,
get that
especially when
stitch
you're
in your
doing it. Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing that really makes it. Hey, that didn't feel like 5 miles. No, it felt like 5 miles.
Yeah. You know what? I will argue. Even when I did work out, I never turned this corner that people say like, "Oh, eventually you'll love it." Nah, man, it sucks every time.
Yep, never
I've never fun.
been there. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Nope. Swimming, I will say, gets fun. If you do swimming a lot, that actually
agree.
gets fun.
Sure.
I love
But
swimming.
I also think swimming is more of a, like you said, a joyful activity. It's more recreational. You get in there and you may do some laps, but then you can float and you can maybe do some diving, throw a penny at the bottom and dive for it, make some fun out of it.
People do that.
I do it.
I mean, I did it at the wishing well in the mall.
I do it. I still do it.
Okay.
I do it all the time.
All right. You should super glue a penny at the bottom of a pool and then fill it up. So
There you
people.
go.
That's jacked up, dude. Why can nobody get it? I don't know, but Bob just dropped. Bob is dead.
That's what he gets for trying to get a
Poor
penny.
Bob. Oh man,
Literally poor
Hey,
Bob.
you know what? If Bob was
that he
going to
needs
die,
a penny.
if Bob was going to die for a penny, Bob deserved to die. How about
that
that?
is pretty cheap.
Come on.
Why was he down there so long? I mean, it was 1 cent. I would have gave him a nickel.
Yeah, if I can see.
We'll give you a quarter. Just come back up.
He can't hear me. He's underwater. He's drowning.
It was actually a rare 1878 penny with the
He's got an amazing vision underwater. Is he Aquaman?
the America. The
Jason Momoa's underwater?
Ooh, I would
Oh
go
my
swimming for that.
Jesus,
Yeah, you need some therapy.
That's
All
what we're here for.
I guess.
I thought it was my therapy. I don't want to share therapy.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I probably need therapy for that.
All right. So as a society, we tend to look at people who, quote unquote, fight through the pain to complete something, whether it be a football game or a long run, as almost heroic. I think that's how a lot of people look at it, as they beat the odds. But the same society will look at people who realize it's too much or err on the side of caution as weak or quitters. Why do you think that is? And you guys both know I'm right about that, right? That's just how we
course.
do. That's how we do. So
Wow.
why is that? Why do we look at people who are smarter about it and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take a chance of hurting myself. Why do we look at them as quitters? But people like The Rock who don't
Yeah.
say quit. Why do we always look at them as heroes?
Because they didn't quit.
Okay,
I was-
thanks for
yeah.
rephrasing the
I
question
just-
into a
You
sentence.
said, why do we view them as heroes? Because they didn't quit. And you're right. Yeah, we are hard on quitters because, well, you gave yourself a goal and then you didn't follow through. I'm like, that sucks. But I would agree that we're too harsh on people for that, especially if you're like, you mess up your foot or something. So you're like, you think better of continuing the jog or something. People still say, oh, you called it quits too early, huh? So yeah, I get that we're too hard, but
Soldier on. That's another thing that's thrown out there.
yeah, but I mean, some of it is coming from a place where people just want to feel superior to other people because that's just people love that. I would hope that if your friend is saying, "Oh man, you gave up" or something like that, then they're really just trying to get you to actually just do it and complete what you set out to do. But I don't value the comments of strangers, so screw them.
Yeah, I feel like
You can-
there's. Go ahead.
Well, the strangers, they can call you a quitter, but I don't see you out there, so.
It's true.
True. I feel like there's a difference between trying to be encouraging and saying, like, no, don't give up sort of thing, and saying, dude, you really shouldn't have quit, or, some other mean thing that I just don't have at the top of my head. But when you tell somebody that they didn't do good enough or that they're not trying hard enough, even if they maybe quit early that day, that doesn't mean that they're not going to go back and do it another day or something and try to get that back up. So I feel like if you give them more positivity to help them get where they're going, then that will help their situation. But I think people just do it partly because of what Zach said, the superiority. But also, I kind of think people just like to put other people down sometimes for their own benefit. I don't know what they get out of it.
Bullies.
Yeah. But I don't think there's a good reason.
I do find it a form of bullying. I mean, it's a much more subtle form, and it's not as mean-spirited, but it's definitely, to a degree, it's bullying. Like, I love The Rock, and apparently he's the theme of this podcast.
Yeah, well, your competition just hit the snooze button.
He's a good guy. He seems like a great guy, actually, by all accounts. I met somebody that worked with him and talked to him, and he said, hey, Rock is a great guy. So I legitimately believe that. But he does do that thing where he says, where he knocks quitting. Mm-hmm. And there are occasions where people listen to their body and they stop doing something. And then people will be like The Rock in the gym and stuff and call them quitters or imply that they're failing in some way because they don't do it. And I don't think that's the right attitude, I guess. Right. And I don't know why we do that. Why we put so much stock in, all right, maybe that's for you. Maybe that's the best thing for The Rock. But I can't keep up with that. I don't want to keep up with that. I'd kill myself trying to keep up with that. And I also don't do steroids. So thinking about it, he does.
No way.
Really? Really? You think that's natural?
I believe in Dwayne Johnson.
That's natural, huh? To you?
See what's going to happen is you'll listen to this podcast. He's going to invite me out for a beer, and he's going to just punch you in the face. So
Maybe he'll punch both of you in the face, and he'll invite me out because I'm such a sweetheart.
No.
I don't think he'd weigh into this equation. This is between Zach and I. We're the ones going out with
bye.
The Rock.
Yeah,
I'll turn
and
my
in the
mic off.
story that I just told, Dwayne Johnson he's approached the both of us, and he's punched Aaron in the face. And he's like, hey, Zach, would you love to have a beer? And I would say, absolutely, I would.
And you wouldn't invite me?
Why would he be drinking beer if he's like, so I don't quit?
Everybody gets a cheat day.
I doubt
No,
The Rock
he
takes a
actually
cheat
says
day.
he doesn't do cheat
Well,
days.
that's okay. Now
He hasn't had like candy.
all right.
in
Now
so
he's
many
full
years.
of it.
Well, anyway, don't you find that to be somewhat of a form of bullying when you talk down to people just because they can't follow through or they're
Yep.
struggling with it and they're having a hard time with it? I don't find that motivating to
Well,
me.
and also if you do that to someone if they get into the mindset and they get stuck in what other people are thinking and how they're feeling about it, when they do need to stop, then they might not. And I don't mean they need to stop because of like their own personal or emotional or whatever.
They're having a heart attack and they're just going to power through.
Well, I mean, if they hurt themselves and by continuing to run, then they're going to hurt it more or something like that. And they're like, I just need to push through this. It's no big deal.
I've done that.
Yeah.
So have I. I went to work after I broke my ankle and I worked at a factory and I was at work on crutches and it was like, oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh,
and I
should
was
tell
like,
a Smirk story about how awful factory jobs are. Someday.
we could do that. So I guess I feel like it's also not only is it bullying, but it's also, I don't know, it's bad for the situation in general because then you're going to get people into a mindset where they're fearful to stop because they're afraid they're going to be called a quitter and bullied from that situation.
And I think it's important to know, I don't think everybody always means that to be bullying.
They don't.
No,
They
I
just-
really don't. I think some people actually believe that they are being, what's the word?
Motivational.
Yeah, they're trying to be motivational.
Oh, honestly, I mean, for some people, that is motivational.
For some people it is.
You know, but it's probably not worth the risk of being a dick.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly.
there are definitely some factors to that.
Well-
And when I hear people saying, "Oh, yeah, you took it a little slow the last couple miles," or "Oh, why'd you quit early?" and stuff like that, I'm like, that's not motivating to me, man. That makes me just not want to do it again. You know,
Right.
Some people are like that, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah. I mean, some people would hear that and go, yeah, you're right. Next time I can't. Or something like that.
Or I'm not going to tell you about whatever I do anymore.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you want to try, if your intention is to encourage someone to do better and to push past those boundaries that they may have set up for themselves where you think that they're not really putting all their effort in, wouldn't you want to just ask them how you could support them and help them in getting to reach their goal rather than saying, all of the effort that you have put in is not really good enough yet, so you should amp that up, and then I'll support you.
Exactly.
That's not...
What an
that's
idealized
kinda shitty.
world you live in where people ask about each other's feelings.
Yeah.
I tell you what I do when I'm going out and trying to motivate somebody to run. I'll run with them, and if they can't do it, I'm going to quit or whatever. I put on a pair of Speedos, or actually thongs is what I'm doing now. Because once you put them on and you run behind them, they don't want to stop. They're afraid. So they just keep going.
Right.
They
So
keep
I'm not
trucking.
running with you ever.
I wouldn't recommend it, not unless you want to be really motivated.
It's because you're not doing any squats or anything to tone it, so
Definitely
it's
not.
not good to look at.
No, it's just like, why is this horrendous shape following me so naked? Put it away. Put it away.
I will say that I have run with Aaron before, and he is one of the most supportive and encouraging running partners because I definitely don't keep to his pace. And when I start to get really tired, he'll legitimately put his hand on my back and push me forward. Like, you're going to keep going. And I'm like, all right, yep, I'm going to do this. And then we actually get past the point where I did not think I was going to end up going through, and then I die. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I died twice.
Yeah, that's okay.
There is a wall. You can get past it. You can keep going.
Yeah.
That is true. And sometimes you just keep running past it. I've ran past that wall so many times, and then I regret so much running past it.
Yeah.
Well, also as a society, last question, it seems to me stubbornness is the reaction that leads to more angst and aggression than any other. Stubborn is the enemy. So why do you think everybody has at least one thing in their lives that they refuse to adhere to basic common sense about? Whatever it is.
Oh. Taking a little left turn here at the end.
Yeah,
Huh?
a little bit.
Wow. I'm not stubborn, so it's not a problem for me. Amanda, would you like to go?
Every single person I know is very stubborn and ignores common sense about something. I'm not asking what that something
Well,
is.
I think him being stubborn about saying that he's not stubborn is enough.
Maybe. So why do you think we do? Why do you think we all have that thing?
I'm trying to figure out what I'm most stubborn about right now and then come to a
Because
decision
it's
of
kind of hard to narrow it down to one.
it is. I am very stubborn.
There are things in your life that you feel so passionately about that you would never compromise, even in the face of Armageddon.
I get that, but there are where you rationally know it's the wrong answer, but
Right.
you're so stubborn you refuse to change course. Why do we as humans do that? We're all smart people, I think, listening to this show.
Okay.
Not necessarily talking on it,
You
but listening.
You specified listening
Yeah.
to the show.
I feel like we are, and we all have done that at some point where we know the right answer, but we legitimately don't care and do the wrong thing.
I think it's because we want to feel like we're in control of something that we maybe don't have control over, and we want to feel like we have the right answer from the get-go. We don't really want to admit to ourselves that we're wrong and then have to change course of whatever we're doing. Like, it took me a long time to come to the realization that drinking 20 to 30 ounces of soda every single day is not healthy.
How many ounces of soda, sorry?
20 to 30 ounces of soda
2 cans
a
of soda.
day?
2 cans of soda?
That's not normal.
Two cans of soda is definitely normal, at least in the Midwest.
It is normal in the Midwest, but it's not good for your
It's not
body.
good for you. I don't drink 2 cans.
And
drinking
I didn't
3-4
used to
sodas a
drink
day.
water.
That's definitely not good for you.
I love soda.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in soda.
What does it feel to know you're embalmed?
Even even when I was working out, I had to allow like at least 1 soda a day. So
When I was working out with The Rock.
I was not well.
Tony Robbins,
no, he did.
or whatever the
He
hell
did
his
wake
name is.
Tony Horton.
Tony Braxton?
The Rock woke me up, and Tony Horton worked me out. Which sounds kind of
That sounded
sexy.
very, yeah.
You know what? I give Tony Horton a rumble.
But I didn't want to be wrong, and I didn't want to give up something that I felt like it's not going to affect me that much. There's no way it affects me that much because I wasn't drinking water and I was drinking soda as like my primary hydration source, which
You're only
is
drinking
not.
20 ounces of liquid a day.
Yeah,
That's not good.
I know.
Look, see,
How are you walking?
here's where you are being stubborn because you drink more, so therefore you say that 20 ounces can't be wrong. Can't be bad
No,
for you.
you definitely need more than 20 ounces of hydration a day. She was
Soda,
saying
soda's not hydration.
No, I know, but she was saying she wasn't even supplementing the soda with any
No.
water.
Oh, I got you.
No,
Yeah,
I was
that's
just, it was
that,
bad.
That's not me being stubborn. That's me being medically concerned for Amanda.
Well, I started drinking
misunderstood.
water
I
now.
misunderstood.
So we have that. And I cut down my soda, so I don't have soda every
We
single
didn't
day.
ask for your dietary intake.
I know, but I'm
I
saying
did. I'm concerned.
I had a hard time kind of getting over that, and I felt stubborn in that I didn't want to change what I felt was right in my life.
Like bourbon.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your drinking problem now. Okay. All right.
No, I wasn't.
That's only a problem if you admit it.
Well, we're going to try to get there. Step 1.
I don't drink like I used to. Trust me.
Okay, are you being stubborn right now with that?
No, I don't.
So why do you think, Zay? Why do you think we're all stubborn about that one thing? Whatever it is.
Nobody likes to be wrong. You know, if it's something you feel passionately about, even if, yeah, I've definitely been in arguments where you realize halfway through you're like, man, they are right, but you cannot give them the satisfaction of being right. So you hold on to your dumb stance, even though you know in the moment you're like, no, you're right. Yeah, we definitely Donald Trump should not be president. You're right, but because you're making an argument, you can't let it go. So you're like, yeah, you know what? He's great. I'll vote for him 3 more times.
He can't even get that many times, but I'm going to make sure that he gets that many times.
I'm not convinced that's not going to happen.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
You never know.
Palpatine's
We don't
in
do
office.
politics on the show, but, so I'm not endorsing any candidate.
Yeah, you know,
I get where you're coming from, though.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's vindictive. You don't want to let the other person be right or be proven wrong, I guess, rather.
Personally, I just don't want to be. I want to prove to myself that I can do something that I know I can't do. And then when my body tells me I shouldn't do it, I still think I should. And I realize I'm stupid stubborn about something.
There's no way you're stubborn, Aaron.
It
I don't believe it.
happens very infrequently.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? If I get halfway through an argument and I realize I'm wrong, I do the same thing.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you just could be like, but I have, you know what? All right, you got me. You got me there. You got me there.
There are definitely times where I'm
If
like,
you got stats, it's kind of hard to come back. All right, that's science.
Well, that's why I hate when people say, oh, let's just Google it. I'm like, no.
No, we go with random opinions when we're stating facts.
Absolutely. People take all the fun out of arguments when they say, let's just Google it.
Well, Google would solve a lot of fights.
It would.
Yeah, but then...
Then what if you don't believe the Google you found? What if it's...
We have a show that is about debate and discussion. What is life without debate and discussion? We just going to Google everything for the right answer? I don't think so.
And nobody wants to listen to podcasts where everybody just agrees on everything.
Exactly. So if we all just went to the source...
This would be really short.
Yeah.
We should just call the show Google It. Is that a podcast? We should just do that.
There we go.
Like every
it's
week
trademarked. Don't take it.
Yeah, we can't... There's a spinoff.
I don't think it's trademarked. We can't
No,
trademark
I'm saying
this.
we're trademarking it. Shh.
I
Well,
definitely
get on it.
Don't tell
Google
people
is
it's
trademarked.
not
I'm
trademarked.
pretty sure Google's taken.
Fine, we'll spell it wrong. It'll be GOOGEL.
Yeah, the trademark people won't notice that one at all.
Google.
Hey,
Google it.
hey, Stan, does this look like that one Google thing? No,
that's
Google.
Google.
It's Google.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? Was the story truth or fiction?
Truth.
Oh, okay.
Simultaneous truth.
That's true. Yeah, the whole story was true. That happened.
Well, it's
to me.
because Aaron is such an avid runner that as soon as the story was about a runner, it was pretty easy to assume that Aaron was the star of the story.
It was. True story. Did fall. Did hurt myself. I had to call my buddy Tyler to come pick me up and
So
carry me out of the park.
Don't be a hero.
He was a hero.
That's a
He was
mo-
my hero because I could not walk.
So moral of the story, you should have let those kids drown.
You know what the saddest part was? Tyler comes and he brings his stepson to humiliate me, so to make sure to rub
Sure,
it in.
yes.
That, hey, look, let's
He
go,
should.
go get old man Aaron. And then this like 75-year-old man was there fishing, and he came over to help carry the others, like get me on the other side to help me. So I've got a 75-year-old man who can walk better than me carrying my
your
old-
friend just giggling the whole way.
Yeah, he thought it was hysterical.
That is hysterical.
And his stepson was like, I'm like, yeah, it's not funny, dude.
Now
Stop it.
every time his stepson sees you, he's gonna be like, you're that old guy that can't walk.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
It's fun.
And the old guy was like, you doing all right? And I'm just sitting there going, man, your life's half over. This is,
I think it's more than half.
It's like 3/4.
you know what? That guy was so wonderful. I hope he makes it 150.
You know what?
I
That's
do.
That's a sweet story.
Sweet guy. Sweet guy.
What's the name of your story?
Adrenaline.
Okay,
Because it's the adrenaline that keeps you going.
because you're like a hero.
No, the adrenaline is really what keeps you going. I mean, that's what made me keep going when I was exhausted is the adrenaline. You start going, you start feeling it, and you're like, man, I can finish this out. I can finish this out.
That's what made you want to try to save those lives.
And you realize you shouldn't have. I should have taken a nap, and I would have been not.
See, moral of the
'Cause I
story is you
didn't-
just need to sleep.
Yeah.
I didn't walk for 2 weeks. So
So the moral of the story: more naps.
Yeah, I can get
Did
down
you-
with that.
Did you take a lot of naps while you were injured for 2 weeks?
no, because I was really frustrated. So I was constantly trying to get myself up.
Yeah, you're not sober at all though.
No, I did get up. I got moving a lot faster because I powered through the pain. I rocked it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Oh
think
boy.
you
Why
did.
doesn't he trademark that? I rocked it.
Mm. Like ROCK''D.
Yeah.
Yeah. that'd be
Or
pretty-
day.
You know what? This show's over.
Yeah, I would say so. Join the conversation by joining our Facebook group, Smirk, or follow us on Twitter at Smirk Podcast, and be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. As the show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you want to have a chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. I know we've got another one coming up in the next few weeks from Christina Flores, I believe. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk and say that 3 times real fast on your podcast app of choice, and check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk. Whew. That one's done.
Done.
And
One
I-
down.
I
2
feel
to
like
go.
a hero. I
In
feel
the
like a hero.
bag. Yeah, you would.
We didn't laugh as much at that one, so we should laugh more. Maniacal laugh.
Well, I already
I think
knew
you-
that. I already-
Maniacal laugh.
You have to earn the laughter. It's just like you can't just force the laughter.
Maniacal laugh.